Hey there! Module 3, as they say, the home stretch of the home stretch. Let's do this. Welcome, you guys, to the final piece of the puzzle here, both on the certificate as a whole and on this very exciting Insights and Optimization course. It's time to get down and dirty with some actual reporting. So, taking what we know and what we've seen in our insights and our goals and objectives, and then turning that into some meaningful reports of any kind, whether that's one screen grab a month or it is a 10-page report a week, whatever it is that you need in your organization or for the work that you're doing. Hopefully, we've got some good templates, examples, and intel for you as we go here. So, essentially, a little bit of measuring and then a little bit of reporting. So important in this world of plenty of data that we have at our fingertips and no shortage of ways that we can utilize it. So, analyzing the promoted content and paid campaign results and just essentially aiming for better performance across all those channels and platforms. Understanding our specific indicators of our digital campaigns, carefully mapping out our budget, audiences, assets, and opportunities, and moving forward from there. And then creating meaningful templates. The key here is, are they easy to use? Is your benchmarking habits or tactics and practices something that you can repeat on an ongoing basis, and ones that are easy to find and hopefully skewing in the right direction too, because your content is shining. And then you're identifying the ways in which your digital channels and user interfaces can better serve your audience, grow your leads, and convert to sales. Conversions. And then, of course, process. So here we go. First of all, measuring a little bit more. Can we possibly measure any more? Oh, yes, we can. So, for traffic, audience, behavior, user journey insights, and so much more, we've got our good old Google Analytics. And I know we've touched on GA in all of these digital marketing courses, but none that has focused on it solely. So, the point being that Google Analytics has to be infused into every single thing you're doing, whether it's your social media strategy and that course that we're teaching, or a little bit of Facebook advertising, or something like your full-on Google AdWords campaigns. This needs to be on speed dial for you. You've got it bookmarked, you've got it firing properly, you're understanding the insights within it, and you're turning to it regularly for everything from audience behaviors and acquisitions type intel to the conversions that we're setting up, because you know your goals and you've assigned a value to them and you can see when they're achieved, to some of the simpler things like the site speed analysis that we talked about in course number 1, and user flow, journey, bounce rates, etc. Really important. One of the things that I also love, and I'm going to toggle over here into the big bad wild version of it, live version of it, but wild as well, is just being able to see the intelligence. So landing on my homepage, Google Analytics, and then I click on my little intelligence button. This is kind of new, but I do love it. It'll flag sort of abnormalities or spikes or kind of interesting things sometimes not always, but just kind of neat to see what GA is wanting to tell you about your site as well, because the power of the machine, it's reading into the insights probably even deeper than we are in some cases. So as we just looked at here, audience overview, super important to know who's visiting your site, where they're coming from, essentially from a demographic standpoint, interests, behaviors, etc., and knowing if we're on the right track because we're targeting those exact same people with our content. And then acquisition, where are they coming from? So that beautiful mix, the pie chart of paid search, organic search, our various efforts, are they paying off? How much social can we attribute to our site traffic, or direct and referral traffic, etc.? Of course, this is always going to change and evolve, but hopefully you know why it is doing so. And then conversions. So we've danced every which way around it. Rather than diving deep into behavior and acquisition and audience again, we're going to go straight into admin section here. And this is something you can certainly Google, and that Google Analytics itself will provide you a whole bunch of tutorials and more information on. But essentially it lives over here. So in the same place that you're setting up your users and you're managing the property as a whole, you're going to go into goals within Google Analytics and you can set this up. So shame on me, I only have one, but essentially that's because we haven't properly set up our website to show that we've got different URL destinations for different purchases. So if I was really smart, I would take my 300 products, but let's pretend there was 10 or main offerings and categories of products. Or it doesn't have to be products. Remember, it can be achievements of any kind. So they reach a subscribe page, they reach a contact form, they do some other kind of goal that's meaningful to you, and you can measure when they reach that page. And again, you can measure them on the front end, so where they came from, right down to the end there. So my goal description is that they completed a sale, i.e. they landed on our one thank you page, go us. And what does that look like? Well, it's simply /welcome. So it's as simple as that. Now, if I was extra smart, I would have a value attached to this, but it's difficult for us to do because we have a different value for every product. So we can't do that unless we really segment this, which would be the smart thing to do. And also really fun, because then we can see what every single user is worth, and that lifetime value stuff comes into play. But in this case, you would attach a value to that goal there, and then how cool you can start to see those achieved. Ditto if you want to create a funnel. So if we go back out to the beginning, and we see when we create a new goal, it can be anything. So again, choose a template here if you like. Play with these a little bit. Certainly encourage you to do some more reading on these types of things if you want a little bit more information. But now you're going to have tons of information firing into your conversion section of your Google Analytics, and you're going to sound and feel so smart. But if you notice here, we've got all sorts of revenue or all sorts of goals. So yes, under revenue, absolutely, those are tangible financial goals. But then there's the inquiry goals, there's engagement goals, acquisition, etc. And it's kind of interesting because these, in some ways, go back to what we're seeing in our Facebook as well. So same type of objectives we have when we create a Facebook ad: website traffic, post engagement, video views, same kind of thing. There's nothing like having goals. Again, in our marketing now as well as our life. So you get the idea there. That's where you can go and play with it. There's so many things within Google Analytics that, again, there's many resources out there, and we're happy to be those for you. But fun if you can start to see that. If we go back to home, I can see right here, conversions, and I can see that one silly little goal firing for me. How much is it worth? Well, nothing, unfortunately, but you get the idea. So 300 in the last, whatever that time frame is. And then, of course, exactly who they are, where they came from. Now, if we have more information on if we're using UTM tags, as you learned about in Advanced Facebook Advertising and Google Analytics, we are attaching a specific urchin tracking mechanism, or UTM tag, to our posts within our Facebook publishing or our Instagram publishing, or any social media post for that matter, so that it's a longer URL. It's not just facebook.com/the social school/sale. It's got a whole bunch of other parameters attached to it, and it's specifically tracked so that that particular sale is not only attributed to, oh, that started with a lead on Facebook. Nope, that came from that exact post, and it's going to follow that person and their IP address around the internet until they make that sale. So it doesn't even have to happen instantaneously or in one seamless search experience or internet session. It can happen months down the road, and it's still going to be attributed to that original post, which is pretty cool. All right, GA. So for Facebook, when it comes down to measurement, we've talked a lot about Facebook Insights and the incredible information that's within it. I do certainly love Facebook Insights, and there's a few tabs in here in particular. Posts is where I like to hang out and just see how those are doing, and I think a lot of us aren't necessarily looking deep into it. So measuring and reporting on our Facebook content, as well as our audience, our campaigns, promotions, actions, etc. So Facebook Business Manager is a beautiful thing. Again, remember, you're going to bookmark this separately from how you've bookmarked your page. But with that gray bar at the top, I know that I'm within Business Manager utilizing my page, or I'm over here in, I can get to it this way as well, Business Settings. I'll go right back here. And I can, of course, set things up properly with people, pages, ad accounts. But then, of course, I can get right over to my page. So if I want to go into the social school page, I can do that this way as well and just find my way there. So insights. Yes, you've got a lot of these if you're in the blue screen in your personal Facebook feed, but we all know that we're not working from our personal Facebook feed as business marketers anymore. Why? Plenty of reasons. We've got so much more data here. We've got the ability to use Business Manager, Ads Manager, custom audience creation, advanced promotions, pixel traffic, and then tons and tons of insights, as well as the fact that you're never going to wonder again who you're posting as. You're going to be either one page or the other, and it's going to be a far more professional environment. You don't have all of your personal stuff attached to it, and you're just utilizing it differently. So within Business Manager, of course, I can head right into Insights, and this is where we have no shortage of places to play. But again, you've got benchmarking data, you've got just historical data. It goes way, way back if you like. And then, of course, just current happenings within your page and within your content right off the hop. So summary pages, yes. Promotions, followers, likes, reach. I know you know a lot of this. We're not going to go deep into it. But just a quick glance at posts, because again, we're looking at measurement here before we go into reporting. And this is just such an important page to see how our different content types are performing. So, photos, videos or live videos, how they're performing from an organic versus paid perspective. We really should have boosted this post and probably seen it get, 10,000 overall reach. And not only, if you recall, when we boost something or we put a little bit of money behind it, I'm talking $5, $10 micro boosts, or maybe $40 if you've got a promo on. Not only will your paid reach obviously go up, but your organic reach will too. And then toggling between non-fans and fans, which I love. So you want to talk about reaching new eyeballs? Great. Boost your posts to strategic audiences wherever you want. Drop that pin on them and go hard, or use a pixel and target your posts or your promoted content to people that were on your site yesterday or that watched your video for 3 seconds 8 months ago. Whatever you want, sky's the limit. It's amazing. But now you're reaching non-fans too, and that's how we really start to see growth, obviously. So this guy's important and fun to watch. What we're also looking at, however, is the benchmarking capabilities within Facebook. So insights of promotions and posts, and then some of the things that perhaps you're not looking at or you're not aware of. So if I go into my follower count, for example, pretty surface level metric, but not a bad thing to follow for sure. I can look at this little benchmark section here and just see how I'm doing from one period to the next. So I chose to go with 1 quarter, but I could do a week or a month or whatever custom I want. And then I can just sort of see how I'm doing in that regard. That was with my followers. But what if I want to see it in terms of likes? Same thing. So you're starting to get the idea of whatever matters to you, because in module 1 and 2, you mapped up what your objectives are, and then what you're measuring, and what platforms are important to you, and of course, what numbers you need from them. So in this case, you could absolutely screen grab this and include this in a quick 3 or 4 page summary every month or whenever you need something like that. Reach, same thing. And we know that reach is the most important of all of these metrics within Facebook. For the most part, maybe next to engagement, I guess I should say, because we've got, just something deeper happening. What are we aiming for? Engagement, actions, conversions. Holy crap, I sound like a broken record. So lots of cool stuff within here, and just a good way to start benchmarking year to year or month to month. And then a new thing from Facebook, pretty cool. Facebook Analytics. Did you know about it? Have you heard about it? It's certainly not quite as popular as I would think. But when you go into Business Manager, again, settings, you can head on into Analytics. And they've created this, first of all, a really easy get started ability. So, or interface. So analytics.facebook.com sounds a lot like business.facebook.com if you're getting started on Business Manager. But essentially, just set it up. It's so easy. Once you're logged in, it takes a day or two to populate. But once you create whatever it is you want to fire in your analytics, it'll show up for you. So think about this just like it's your Google Analytics, but it's measuring your Facebook or happenings on a deeper level. It's also, though, connected to the pixel that you've created. So head on back to advanced Facebook advertising if you need to look at the pixel stuff, but essentially it is tied to your website. So it's not just Facebook activity that's being measured here. It's a lot of things. And interesting because we can log events that measure revenue. So again, creating goals within here. This journey section is quite cool. So based on the conversion events that you describe that you want measured, i.e. a sale or a subscribe, then it can tell me how those are performing if it ever loads. So yeah, lots of really interesting things here. Lifetime value, active users, revenues, funnels. Funnel is the hot word, I can tell you that. So think about that as you go through it. Another thing within this is the test and learn section. So same kind of thing. If you really want to start playing around in Business Manager and getting more of that A/B testing under your belt or more trial and error, check out the test and learn section. It's going to prompt you right off the hop with some important questions that you'll know to test, like i.e. which campaign causes the lowest cost conversions to occur. You don't need much to try it out, or how many conversions are all my Facebook ads causing. Set up a test, run it. Again, you're going to sound brilliant if you can find some insights like this. And it's trying to make it as easy as possible for you to get the most out of your Facebook so that you keep using it, spending money and running your ad campaigns there and not somewhere else. So it's not in their best interest to make it confusing or a ripoff for you, I'll tell you that. And same with the analytics. It's an interesting place to start looking at. Hootsuite Analytics. All right, so we've looked at Hootsuite in multiple courses as one of our sort of tried and true and go-to, of course, scheduling and automation platforms. I found it kind of disappointed me there for a few years. There was a lot of other hot competitors, but I don't know, Hootsuite's come around as, to me, a real thought leader in the space too, as I mentioned in digital strategy. Their blogs and workshops and webinars are fantastic, and I love that they've committed themselves to being experts in the social space as a whole and not just to their platform, which is rare. So, but as a usable platform, it's also fantastic. In terms of using it for analytics and reporting, meh. I upgraded to an $80 a month plan just for you guys. You're welcome. And I'm going to show you the reports that I'm now able to pull. And, you know, if this was all you were using, not bad at all. I did like the exported report, which I'll show you too. But on the whole, it didn't totally blow me away. So if we go into our Hootsuite, of course, we've got our dashboard that we can load up all the different platforms we want to, and then, you know, whatever streams we want to see show up in there, no problem. But I think a lot of us, personally, I find, got away from using Hootsuite Analytics because if you remember back in the early days of, 2014, 16, who knows, the dark ages, it was expensive. You got like 2 credits, you pulled a report, game over. And so I thought, anyway, I'll give this a try, this upgraded Hootsuite Analytics suite. So yeah, really nice in that you get overviews, of course. You're going to see generic kind of general post-performance type metrics, which of course you are. You're going to get this in any third-party app and potentially not have to pay for it. But I can also, you know, certainly see a little bit more here, which I'll show you. So this allows me to choose whichever platform I want, but it's still refreshing. That's too bad, but you get the idea. So posts, followers, engagement, a little bit of benchmarking based on whatever whatever time frame I'm choosing. Looks like the internet stopped working on those days, who knows, or the tracking wasn't working. And this is pretty cool. We all want to see what posts are top performers, but this is kind of baseline. Most every social platform will at least tell us our top performing posts nowadays. So overview and then post performance, of course, same kind of thing, a little bit more here in whatever platform I want to track and whatever platform I want to see. So where it gets better is within the boards, and hopefully we can get in there and take a look at those. That is where we're starting to be able to see a little bit deeper data. So, you know, just being able to pull on these guys here and see sentiments, see keywords, post by targets and themes, etc., which is kind of neat because that goes along with the theme of our content being divided into pillars and, important subject matter. So I'm going to have to come back to that because it doesn't seem to be loading for me. Come on, Hootsuite. So in the meantime, let's look at, speaking of not being able to see a whole lot, Instagram. So you all know what your Instagram insights look like, and you all recall when Instagram started encouraging us to take our personal or our what were business profiles and turn them into an official business profile as opposed to using it like a personal page. So what did that give us? It gave us, just a little bit, a whole whopping 6 to 10 screens of intelligent information, which we're certainly going to get more elsewhere. But in terms of a quick mobile view of how things are doing, it's not bad. It's high level insights that, again, you're going to get something out of, hopefully. And as for whether or not it made sense to turn your page into a business or your profile into a business profile or account or keep it as a personal one, it was nice that you weren't forced to, like they did with Facebook, where they said, hey, this looks like a business page. Please turn it into a business page. It can't be a personal page. However, you can't do any kind of boosting or promotions or, utilize your smart audiences, your pixel firing, your retargeting, etc., unless you have an Instagram business page. And that's only going to continue to be more valuable in terms of what they're going to give us with audience information and targeting abilities. So yes, it is important to be a business page now. What is happening? Oh, I know. I just wasn't clicking on the right board. Jeez Louise. Is it Friday? Sorry, team. Okay, so I've created some boards in here. You can see I'm very well versed in my Instagram, my Hootsuite Analytics, my upgraded suite. So I created these custom boards all of last night, and I'm able to kind of pull whatever I need from here. I know you're not totally wowed yet. Oh, that one wasn't bad. But depending on what kind of platform you're really trying to measure and, what matters, these are all widgets that you can drag around and create custom boards with. So this is where they're wanting us to feel extremely wowed by their upgraded reporting mechanism for, a fairly friendly $80 a month if you're a company. It's not terrible. And then, of course, easy exports as well. So not bad. I do like some of these more than others, and it's particularly the engagement boards that can show us, the stuff that really matters. If I want to create a custom board, there it is, the plus sign. I can go in and find the one that I'm missing. And again, these are all little widgets that show up on that board, kind of fun, or create a custom one from scratch. So what does that look like when it's exported? Well, let me show you. It's actually kind of nice. If I had to provide this for a client or for my boss, I wouldn't feel bad about it at all. So engagement and follower counts and likes and top performing posts, and again, posts by topics, tweets performing well, etc. You could combine all 3 or 4 of your key social platforms into a report like this, pull it once a month, and Bob's your uncle. Go Hootsuite. So Hootsuite's still great as an overarching platform that can do a lot for us across many boards and many spaces. So if we're not getting what we need out of our Instagram business metrics, to back up a second, our favorite third-party Instagram reporting tools. Planoly, my go-to, my fave. Can't help but love them. They're just beautiful. If you've ever seen Planoly's Instagram feed, you know what I mean. They're really getting it. Their content mix is just stellar. They've got, it feels like a magazine, it's curated in all the right ways with a blend of real photography, a bit of stock, graphics, animations, GIFs, illustrations. It's just a pleasure to read. They cycle through different colors and themes, and God, it's beautiful. Anyway, so they've got this nice 9 grid over here. We've talked about this in other places and courses, but it's a really nice way for you to be able to batch dump in a bunch of photos. The U means they're unscheduled. You can schedule them quite easily whenever you're ready, like these lovely alumni girls. I could dump this into my calendar here, schedule it for tomorrow with a time. It's going to fire out. It can auto post now. Thanks to Facebook or Instagram opening the API a few months ago. I can auto add one of my hashtag bunches. I'll add those guys in there. So that's going to show up. I can maybe put up a couple spaces in so there's some room between my hashtag promo and my copy. So you get the idea. You can do all sorts of cool things here. And then I can also do the same for stories. So scheduling our stories is key, and otherwise, it's hard to make them happen. But it also doesn't have a lot of variety. So if you've got a story image that's been sized accordingly in that very vertical format, then great, schedule it, make it happen, and then you can easily blend it between your photos, your on the fly videos, your live stuff, and then having an a graphic or a sales or promotional type thing show up, or just a photo that you really want to get across. And then of course we've got analysis as well. So I can set my time frame, and then I can get the insights that I need. I can see my top post liked, commented. I can go through it based on whatever it is that's meaningful to me. So not tons of data, but not bad. You want tons of data? Say no more. Let's look at Iconosquare. I can't believe how many people are using this. It just seems to be the one that's kind of risen to the top and stuck there in terms of, what was originally, I believe, an Instagram scheduling planning tool, and is now primarily, I think, used even more so as an analytics tool. So they've got free trials, and then it becomes a bit of a freemium model where you're paying at least something per month, but you can schedule your content, plan it really well, and then get a whole whack of insights on that content too. So not a bad thing to experiment with, and go from there. And then finally, Buffer's also got some really great analysis tools. Buffer's like a Hootsuite, but they've got a beautiful slate of, again, free analysis and reporting tools that you might want to look into. Okay, your turn. So we've got a few goals to map out here. 2 exercises. What specific metrics are you benchmarking and testing? You know what platforms you're really diving into, and maybe it's not Facebook, Instagram, e-newsletter, Twitter, or other social. Hopefully you've got some of that going on, but if you totally need to substitute those for your own, that's okay. But what are you looking at from that sort of vanity side, and then as well the deeper, more meaningful side? Where the clicks, conversions, CPM, of course, is cost per mil or cost per thousand, be that impressions or reach, and then cost per click. So if you're running that kind of campaign, subscribes, contact forms, etc. If you don't know what metrics you are, back it up. Go back into some of those reporting and analysis tools and check them out. Facebook, again, has such fantastic column views and filter views that you can really dive in and see all of those numbers or those kind of insights quite easily. And then you can decide what's important to you. Remembering, of course, that engagement is king and reach is also great. And then third in line, the joker or the jack would be straight up impressions, because we know that's a bit more passive than the other two. So just thinking about what you want to aim for. And we're not, again, just chasing followers and thinking that creating followers is the way forward. Second, the last 60 days benchmark. So let's call it 60 days. If you want to stretch that out longer, no problem. So let's do some benchmarking here. How have you performed in that last month or time frame of your choosing, in the last 2 months? And then what about the time frame before that? You can even do this annually if you want to, but I would encourage it to be every quarter. That's my favorite go-to time frame. A month sometimes feels a little too tight to see meaningful metrics, or we might have a down month and that skews everything. But quarters are a really good thing to keep building on, and you can do great reports every quarter. Tough to do great reports every single month. And if you're doing them every year, that's not quite frequent enough. So, ready, set, go. Give that a whirl, and I'll see you back here in a few minutes. Okay, the last piece of the puzzle. Let's pull these reports already, shall we? Great. So again, Google Analytics, fantastic for measuring the traffic, those goals and conversions, and then our SEO, search engine optimization efforts, and how we're showing up in search, and then our search engine marketing as a whole. So easy analytics sharing. I love this tool. And then of course the exporting side as well. So if we look quickly at this, we see that we've got the ability to go into our analytics, look on any page. Maybe I want to look at my acquisition report for I don't know, the whatever time frame we've got here. Let's say June through August, and I want to share this quite easily. No problemos. I can email that to you in 5 seconds, prove I'm not a robot, and bang, there's your PDF, Google Analytics Acquisition Overview. Of course, I could also simply export that in whatever makes sense to me. Export it into Google Sheets. You don't have to touch a button. Maybe then go in and kind of, I don't know, highlight your columns or bold them, or just remove whatever you don't need. But you don't even have to screen grab or copy paste. This is making it so simple for us. So some of the things that we compile in our 6-page monthly report, if we do work with someone to do this for us, or quarterly, as I mentioned a minute ago. Page 1, website traffic snapshot. We do like to know traffic overall. 2, the sales snapshot. So what's happening and whether we're meeting those goals and where they're coming from. 3, organic search. So how much are we just showing up organically without having to pay to be seen, and then how that's happening. So this is really important for us. As much as our paid campaigns perform, we follow those campaigns sometimes through the campaign interface or dashboard itself, i.e. Google Ads, Facebook ads, etc. What I really turn to Google Analytics for is our organic search. So I love knowing what keywords people are finding us through, accidentally or on purpose. But they're not typing in, remember, like a direct search, the social school. They're typing in digital marketing education or PR courses or online learning or best school in the world. No, just joking. But, that's how they're finding us. And then we know whether or not to bump those keywords in some of our ads or even some of our content writing and our in-page stuff, or just find it interesting. So that might be something for you. And then, of course, the referral sources too. So that's what we're interested in. But I encourage you to look through your analytics closely and decide what matters to you in that kind of monthly or quarterly SEO, SEM report. We looked at Facebook Insights and simply now looking at ways to export that data. It's just a matter of finding the information that you want. If I'm running, of course, an ad campaign and I want to export the ads there, first things first, filter the columns that you need to see and the info that you're looking for. Just load the campaigns that you want to show up as opposed to all 700 of your ad campaigns. And then, pull a report. Once again, I've been bumped into the wrong ad account, but if I look at, some of my current campaigns, if I'm running them again in just the last week, I don't have many, but if it's my website Launch Lab campaign, I can change this. I can remove the column entirely. I can move it around, but of course I'm in much more concerned with reach and impressions than perhaps I am, and cost per, than some other things. So I really like this report, and I can save it as if I like it, and I can certainly, of course, export it. How do those show up? Well, they're beastly. They certainly are. But let's say I pull a Facebook Insights report that is, more about my page as a whole. Lifetime total likes, daily new likes, daily unlikes. Like, it's unbelievable. If you don't narrow it down, they're going to give you so much information. But the key metrics are pretty cool. Are you going to utilize this much data? Probably not. I would encourage you to, again, further segment before you pull this kind of report, but really interesting numbers that are worth at least looking at. All right, moving along, we looked at the insights that show us benchmarks. So if you wanted to include benchmarks in some of your reporting, absolutely find a way to do so. You could, same thing, run a report on this. It would just be simply finding post reach and then exporting that type of data. But you could also do a screen grab and come up with graphs and not have to pay Hootsuite for them. So whatever works for you. Back to Hootsuite, we looked at this already, so that's what that kind of PDF version of it would be. And again, not bad at all, and stuff that if you're showing it to a team who's going to want to see infographics, numbers, graphs, pictures versus written data, that's the place to go. And then for us, where we find ourselves a lot with clients, and I'm sure you can relate to this, is that at the end of the day, there's a certain level of that whole custom and manual thing that simply has to happen. Why? Because your client only cares about one thing versus the other, or you've got specific events or campaigns that you need to highlight. You're trying to convince a certain team of how well something is performing. You've got to pull extra data on it, or how well something is not performing. Same kind of thing. It always surprises me when we work with a client who will say, we've got to do more of this type of post. It's our best. It's our best. And we're like, no, it's your worst. It's actually your worst. Let us show you why and how. And here's the numbers. They don't lie. So anyway, that's where some of these custom reports can come in. So these are just grabs from the spreadsheet that you've been provided with in this course. And it's totally just up to you what you want to use here, but there are a number of tabs in that hopefully will provide you with a starting point. I do want to show you this one here. This example number 4 is this is our Canada Beef monthly report. Same thing, big client, national, obviously, organization. They require quite a bit of data, but it's got to be disseminated in a way that's easy to read, makes lots of sense. Makes everybody feel good about themselves in terms of what we're investing in it and what they are, and they want to see those numbers. So it's not beautiful, but it's something. It's done in PowerPoint, so you can Keynote or PowerPoint or Canva if that works for you. Again, screen grabs the posts that work, or pull the data that you need to into a graph or a chart. I've just pulled a few pages out of here. It's actually more like a 15-page report, but the other thing that's really important, I think, and this is in your big spreadsheet, is the key insights that you're pulling. So it's one thing to let the machine tell us what's working. It's a whole other to use your brain as a smart marketer and say, this is why this worked, this didn't, here's what we need to do more of. And, in some of these example reporting templates, you can find space for that. Again, make these your own, and hopefully these can provide you with some sort of starting point. So Instagram, Facebook, if you want to include the topic or category of what that post was, how it performed, total engagement, you can manually do all of this kind of thing. Maybe you're running promotions and contests, and they do require a little bit more manual compilation after the fact. But the same kind of important metrics apply, right? Reaches, reactions, etc. This one's a big one. It's actually pulled for a food company that we work with, and we pull it right from HubSpot. So HubSpot is the social media automation tool of choice for this company, and HubSpot provides us with a lot of information. There's still some manual compiling of it, but top posts never gets old. Legacy stats. Maybe you've got a need for some bigger benchmarks year over year. Great. Sum those up in a place that they can all kind of live together. But I really do encourage you to think about this, if nothing else. What do we want to do better, or what we do better or worse than last month? Did we do better? Wow, I should really zoom in. Holy smokes. What was interesting to our audience? What was not interesting? What were the top or bottom contests, campaigns, etc.? There we go. Just to hit it home. Insights are nothing if you don't put your own spin on them, or your own intelligent information and opinion, and then you can go forward from there. So, holy smokes, look at that. Ta-da! You did it! Go forth and be digitally brilliant, among other things. Please do keep in touch with us. I hope you enjoyed this digital marketing course and certificate if you're with us through the whole thing. If you weren't, please circle back and meet us wherever you need to. We'd be so thrilled to help you skill up where it's important to you, and just find the exact holes in your strategies or your digital skill set. And really hope to see you in person too as we travel, coast to coast, or welcome you into our campus in Calgary, which we're so excited about as we're expanding and growing and offering more and more workshops, custom coaching programs, hand-holding, just webinars, etc. It goes beyond just these learns and helps you bring them to life. As they say, you can't build Rome in a day, and you can't always learn, really good Facebook ad targeting or Google ad building within a 6-hour course. So we're here for you online and in person to help you further bring those to life and optimize them, test them, get feedback on them week over week, month over month, because they are so powerful and they're not going away. So best of luck to you. Thank you again, and hope to talk to you soon. See ya.